Are you aware of the shadow that you cast on others, especially the teams that you lead? What do your team members say about you and your leadership brand when you're not there? As a leader, everything that we do, everything that we say, that we reward and recognize, more importantly, prioritize, sends a message to those that you lead. They are taking their lead from you. So it's important that you're sending the right messages to get the right results. So ask yourself this question: do you consciously manage the messages that you send, or do they just happen? Your leadership shadow is the sum parts of everything that you do and everything that you say that is seen by others. And it's the impact of these that creates the environment in which your team can thrive and get the best possible results. Are you congruent with your leadership brand and your leadership style? Are you being the most authentic leader that you can be? Studies have shown that when you're congruent and when you're authentic, it takes less energy, in which means that you're going to be a more authentic leader. And you're going to create that environment in which your team members feel valued, feel respected, and they feel that they can do their best work. Now, there is a little bit more detail to this. So I'm going to share with you some slides, and we're going to look at this in a little bit more detail. Okay, so people get to know you through the things that you say, how you act, what you prioritize, and what you measure. And when all of these are congruent, then you have alignment, and then congruency and alignment means that you're being more authentic in your leadership style and your brand. Each of these has specific actions. So what you say is how you frame issues, what context that you set within the meetings that you have and the communication that you have with you and your team, what you repeat and what you emphasize. The second part is how you act, and this is around the behaviors. So are you congruent with what you say to how you behave in the workplace? What symbols and what relationships do you cultivate? Are you spending your time on the in-group or the out-group, external or internal, about how you behave and act and have relationships? Then it's around what you prioritize. So have you got the discipline to prioritize the right things at the right time? Have you got set routines? So you have the same, and you use your calendar effectively. You have the same routines with your one-on-ones, your team meetings, your reports, and all that sort of stuff. Who you interact with. Do you prioritize other people above other team members, or external vendors above your team members? And in your meetings, what do you prioritize? Do you prioritize collaboration? Do you prioritize action? Do you prioritize accountability? And then the final one is, what do you measure? So how do you reward people? How do you recognize excellent work within you and your team members? And then how do you hold people accountable? What does accountability look like? And it is all of those things that will create your leadership shadow. And it's really important that you are congruent with all of them, because that will make you a more authentic leader. So I've got a couple of questions for you to flush this out. So where do you spend your time? When you're under pressure, what falls off your calendar? What questions do you frequently ask? What questions are never asked? What gets followed up and what is forgotten? What's important enough to call a meeting about, and then what isn't? And at the end of meetings, what is or isn't emphasized? What language is used? What follow-ups do you have? And asking yourself all of these questions will force you into thinking around what are the conscious messages I'm sending to have the best possible leadership shadow. Because you need to ask yourself this final question: are these the areas that I want to focus on? And does this focus cast the right leadership shadow for me and my team? A congruent leadership shadow would be when you say that your people development is really important and you spend time doing it yourself and asking those questions in your one-on-ones. An incongruent leadership shadow is when you say it's important, but you spend no time doing it. You don't even have one-on-one conversations or any development or action plans. So I found this to be one of the most powerful concepts when you're thinking around your whole leadership brand and you as a leader. The takeaway is, if you are congruent, you're more likely to be authentic. As an authentic leader, people know where they stand with you. They're more likely to be more comfortable. They know how to act and interact, and they're going to bring their best selves to work. They're going to be more productive and get better results. If you're incongruent, then they don't know where they stand. They may not be 100% authentic at work. They're not going to be focused on the right things, and they're not going to get the right results. So I want to leave you with this. Everything that you say is heard, and everything that you do is seen. So are you casting the right shadow?